Yes, my names are Right Honorable Issa Abubakar Boshe, the Honorable Council Representative Gwarin Powered, and the Speaker of Abuja Municipal Council.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
What are the challenges?
Well, we can't understand that politically it's not an easy task. The secondary election, and of course, as we all know, political businesses is not the easiest, like I said. You must learn how to lobby for people to vote if you're doing primary election. A lot of challenges, a lot of questions from one angle to the other. We also try our best to see how we can convince people to vote you during primary. And when you emerge as a flag bearer, party, you also have to go for campaign, see how you can talk to people, convince people who you are, not because of the party, but this is you, this is what you have done, and this is what I've achieved. If support or money has been given to you, and this is what I'm expecting that they're going to get as evidence of democracy.
Inside campaign activities, do you have a contestant that contests with you, and how do you cope with also your contestant? How do you cope with
Of
them?
course. In Gwarin Powered, I happen to be one of the largest wards in West Africa. Like last primary, we have about 4 contestants. One from primary, and of course, God gave it to me. And of course, we put our house together because after personal interest and the primary election have decided who is the flag bearer, we put our house together to make sure we go for party interest. And of course, we can't vote for campaign, election that we don't have challenges. And after primary election, we faced other parties.
Okay.
Parties like PDP, ABGA, SDP, and calling them. And of course, you know, politically, it was not easy. And of course, I went for general election, and I also emerged as the councillor of Gwarin Powered.
So congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, you mentioned something about going around to convince people and also to let them know what you are capable of doing. Sir, do you have a feeling, even when going around, that you have a feeling that I will get this position that I'm contesting for?
I want you to know that I was elected to represent the Gwarin Party for 2016. And before I joined politics, 2015, I was a member of activists in FCT, a member of Greater Gbagi Development Initiative, whose aims were to protect and promote the cause of indigenous persons across Nigeria, where Gbagi people are found. And having built that interest for the people. And people see that interest, that if this guy has been supportive to us, has been protecting our interests as a member of activists, so there's nothing wrong for this young man to represent as a councillor. Yes, we faced a lot of challenges. But I knew that I have done it, and politics is a trust. And after having trust in me, I knew that I was going for one. Because
so you are mentioning something about trust now. How do you come about you having this?
That's the clear second-term councillor, and in Abuja Municipal Council we have 12 political zones and 12 councillors, and of course it's only councillors that have right to vote for who become their speaker. Of course, I have to go for campaign, lobby, that this is what I've achieved. I've been a councillor for 3 years. And of course, because of the trust, people have also voted me. I'm capable of protecting their interests if needs arise. And of course, when they saw that interest on me, and just yesterday, they voted me as a speaker because they believe that I can protect their interests in Abuja Municipal Council. Of course, you must go for another campaign because the people you met at grassroots at that time who voted to a general election are not the same people that are going to vote you during speaker. These people are councillors now, which you have not met them before. You cannot just come to them and say, because I just met in the chamber on the day of inauguration that people vote as a speaker. No, we must some of the antecedents, some of the achievements, some of what we are here to achieve, and this some of what we think that it should be.
So
if they build that trust on you, they vote you.
In your interaction now, you said the councillors to come together and emerge their candidate or emerge somebody that will be responsible for
their speaker.
Yes. So, sir, you have a chamber. You are the final sayer to them.
No, I'm not the actual final sayer, but have to understand that all the 12 councils, like I mentioned, that out of 100%, their interest, personal interest might actually be maybe 0.5%. 100% interest is to represent the people that are represented. And of course, because the opportunity to be the speaker, that does not mean they are different from other councillors. Now you must learn how to allow people to represent their people, because they are there because people exist. And now you cannot tell people, cannot take decision on behalf of the people without soliciting for their support. You must allow them to make their input, that this is what their people want, this is how it should be, and this is how they feel it should be. Then after understanding and anonymous agreement, then decision cannot be taken.
So you mentioned people now. How do you cope with your people?
How do I cope with my people?
Yes.
Very simple.
Okay.
I'm a young man, a local man for that matter, used to the people, and like I said, if I've served people for about 5-6 years as one of a member of RPDs, used to people, protect their interests. So coping with people is one of the simplest things to me. If you have it, stay with them. If you don't have, stay with them. But sometimes if you are close to people, the big one to defend you. That this who this person is, if he has, he give it. If he doesn't have, let us know. And whenever there are 1 or 2 occasions, you make sure we attend wedding. Of course, we are councillors who might not do much, but if there are good naming ceremony, wedding, all these local ceremony, we attend. Then when they see that sense of belonging, then you're okay. In fact, we can be voted as a council as many times we can win an election in our ward, constitutionally.
This is very nice.
Yes.
So, you see now, it's all about people. Is there any promise that you have made to your people that you think this promise, I must fulfill it for me to make my people happy?
Like my first tenure from 2016, 23, and of course, when we came newly, we are JJC politically. We made a lot of promises. Some of the communities that are lack of some of social amenities, we allow them. We tell them that by grace of God, let's give them opportunity to present them. We make sure that we do lobby to make sure that some of these social amenities are provided for them. But when we came in, we find out that things are not actually easy the way we look at it to be when you are outside. Now, when we went for second time election, having understand and study what the government is with a lot of processes, we didn't promise anybody. The only thing we tell people that having understand that these are the challenges we saw in our community. If I give you mandate to support you again, having achieved some of the projects in other communities in Gwarimpa Ward, we make sure that we also see the best we can do to provide some of these social amenities. But of course, it is not promised. But if God said we can only achieve some of the things, God is going to get it. But of course, that's what we are doing. We didn't promise anybody actually. But we are sure that if the government that we present today, this is a social government, this is a democracy whose aims are to protect people's interests as grassroots. And of course, the people are rest assured now with President Muhammadu Buhari government that by grace of God, this second tenure is going to be better and better for every Nigerian. We are begging that.
Now, sir, I know the listeners would like to know the duties of a honorable councillor in your community. Sir, as an elected councillor of your community, those things that as a councillor you need to do for you to please your people.
Anyway, one thing you must understand first is that councillor is a legislative member, and a legislator, their duty is to make bylaws that can suit the area council. Then secondly, we actually know some of the problem more than the chairman that the people are facing because it's our community daily. How do you understand that this is our community in terms of proposed budget? We make sure some of these proposed issues in our community are submitted. Then when they approve after the legislative member, then they will now send it to chairman for assenting. Then some of these projects are some that must have put them in the budget. When they approve it, it is our duty now as a councillor to make sure that you follow all these lobby to make sure that not only are approved but they are implemented, they are visible. Yes, like you asked, simple duty as a councillor is just a messenger. We take message from the community, like I mentioned, some of the issues they face every day by day, and whatever message from the government, they take it back.
I think the government need to know that there are some.
Like I've said, our duty is to make it, we as legislative member is make law that can sort the area council. Because with better laws, we can have a lot of ways to tap revenue. Because without money, we cannot award any contract. Then, if there are executive bills that this is area that the council should be benefiting as revenue, it is our duty for we to sit in the chamber and make sure that the law are enacted, procedures are followed, then give chances to Abuja Municipal Council that I represent to collect revenue from Nigerians, wherever they are. And one thing we also want to know, as we want Nigerians to know, as citizens in Abuja Municipal Council, we are not only representing ourselves, we are not representing ourselves, we are representing the good people of Abuja Municipal Council. Our duty is to provide social amenity to the people. And what we're asking for other Nigerians is that for them to give us support. We might not actually challenge our mother government, who happen to be the FCT government, the state, but we actually have some challenges with some of our mother government in terms of collecting revenue.
Sir,
we can't challenge them, but
thank you.
Legally, constitutionally, it's the area council duty to collect some of this revenue because we are charged with the responsibility
so you make
to
you
contribute to our community.
of revenue.
Yes.
Do you think your people need to come to you first before you can deliver to them, or they have to follow some due processes before meeting you for their responsibilities?
No, like as soon as a councillor, before you have enough contest, you must know that there are challenges facing your communities. Now, after understanding them, write in the paper that maybe if given opportunity to serve them, then if you are elected fully, then in time of budget proposal, you have to go back to the community and say, please, this is time for let's have understanding. Because possibly there's a possibility that yesterday, the problem of the community that faced yesterday might be a different thing that facing today. So you must have to call them as a stakeholder